What is up, YouTube? This is AVAULT here, back again, guys, and today we got a very special Emperor of Darkness Structure Deck Reloaded opening for you guys. So basically, Structure Deck Reloaded is the series of where Konami or the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, they make new structure decks based on the old structure decks by revamping them, as well as introducing new support cards, and this one's the very first of the series. So with Emperor of Darkness, it's basically the Monarch deck which came out many years ago, and they remade a new one, a stronger version with new support archetypes for them. And man, in the front cover we can see ERUPT, the Underworld Monarch, and he looks absolutely terrifying, man. He's just sitting on his throne, staring at you that nobody wants to mess with him at all whatsoever. But yeah, let's check out the back. The Monarchs are back to rule. Oh, absolutely, yes they are. And usually, as usual, we have the deck list on the side. This Emperor of Darkness structure deck is filled with some of the most imposing monsters ever made, and they demand tribute. Monarchs are high-level monsters that unleash their devastating elemental powers when tributes are offered to summon them. Do you have what it takes to command their awesome might to victory? I definitely do. This structure deck includes 36 common cards, 2 ultra rare cards, 3 super rare cards, 1 token card, 1 beginner's guide, and 1 double-sided deluxe game mat / dueling guide with tips to bring you to victory. For further information on the Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game, please visit yugiocard.com. Cool. Oh, it's got some words out here. I want to read and see what they say here. Set content subject to change. No specific card rarity is guaranteed to exist within an individual pack, box, or case unless otherwise indicated. Manufactured and distributed by Konami Digital Entertainment Incorporated. And then there we go with the address code. Right. Oh, okay. So they usually use this statement just for their booster packs, where some cards are not guaranteed, you know, a holo or whatever, but unless it's stated, where here it clearly states at the back. But yeah, let's open it up. Also, let me know, you guys, what is your favorite Structure Deck Reloaded series that came out so far, because I'm very sure this deck, that if you buy free copies of it, you can play very competitively, but right now the format, a lot of things are limited for this deck, and it's probably not as strong as before, but man, 3 of these, you're going to be powerful. So the beginner's guide, as usual. Basic rules, teaching you how to play. Yep. Here's the playmat. Man, it looks really awesome. Very cool with the 2 new Monarch cards right together. I really love how they printed these playmats. I only wish if they actually made it in actual fabric, like mouse pads. That would be much more awesome. And I believe there's something at the back as well. Yeah, lots of information. So again, with the deck list, tribute summon top level Monarchs. Tribute summon and tribute summon again for more higher attack up. Power up with packs. So yeah, as usual, most structure decks, they teach you basic combos with the Monarchs. So as you can see here with Dandelion, you know, tribute its tokens to summon. Use these new support guys, which we're gonna see them very soon later, to summon. And yeah, buy more packs, add it to the deck, power it up, make your deck even more strong. Awesome. Now let's head to the deck. Yeah, also let me know what's your favorite Monarch guys, like why as well, which tribute do you like the most? Alright, so our very first card, Ether the Heavenly Monarch. Light attribute, 2800 attack. Fairy type, you can tribute summon this card by tributing one tribute summon monster. If this card attribute summon, send 2 Monarch spell / trap cards with different names from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon 1 monster with 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense from your deck, but return it to your hand during the end phase. During your opponent's main phase, if this card is in your hand, you can banish 1 Monarch / spell trap from your graveyard immediately after this effect resolves. Tribute summon this card. This is a quick effect. Wow. So it was a very good counter attack for your opponent if you keep it on your hand and using its effect during your opponent's turn. Really cool. And yeah, this is like basically the light version of next guy, Erebus, the Underworld Monarch. Man, they look so cool together. So it's like one of is like the king of the heavens and the other is like the king of hell. Alright, so Erebus. Also, the dark type, dark attribute, again with 2800 attack. Oh, this one's a zombie. I thought it would probably a fiend. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, you can tribute summon this card by tributing 1 tribute summon monster. If this card is tribute summoned, you can spend 2 Monarch / spell trap cards with different names from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, shuffle 1 card from your opponent's hand at random, graveyard, or their side of the field into the deck. Okay, once per turn during either player's main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can discard 1 Monarch / spell trap card and target 1 monster in your graveyard with 2400 or more attack and 1000 defense. Add it to your hand. Ah, that's really cool. Oh yeah, and I realized like all the new Monarchs, despite their attack has increased, but their defense has still remained the same. So basically, you can search any Monarch with this effect, I would believe. Right? Next card. Eidos, the Underworld Squire. So this is like the pre-evolution form, or like the younger version of Erebus, I would believe. But interesting because he's also dark type, but he's spellcaster. So maybe these are just like support soldiers guys or something like that. This card is normal summon or special summon. If this card is normal or special summon, during your main phase this turn, you can tribute summon 1 monster in addition to your normal summon / set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You can banish this card from your graveyard and target 1 monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense in your graveyard except for Eidos, the Underworld Squire, special summon in defense position. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. You can only use this effect of Eidos, the Underworld Squire, once per turn. Right, and that's the light version, so basically the younger version of Ether. Right, and this one's a warrior type, also light attribute. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon 1 monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense from your deck in defense position except for Edia the Heavenly Squire. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 banished Monarch / spell card and add it to your hand. You can only use each effect of Edia the Heavenly Squire once per turn. Right, so I noticed for Eidos and Edia, you're not allowed to special summon from the extra deck, but mainly the Monarch decks, they don't play anything in the extra deck, so they really utilize off these effects, so it's totally worth it for them. Alright, Pantheism of the Monarchs. Send 1 Monarch spell / trap card from your hand to the graveyard. Draw 2 cards. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Review 3 Monarch spell / trap cards from your deck. Your opponent chooses 1 for you to add to your hand, and shuffle the rest back into your deck. You can only use this effect of Pantheism of Monarchs once per turn. Okay. And then we have Caius, the Shadow Monarch, which is basically the old version when the old structure deck came out. Zaborg, the Thunder Monarch. Grandmarg, the Rock Monarch. And then Mobius, the Frost Monarch. Thestalos, the Firestorm Monarch. Ryza, the Storm Monarch. Lucius, the Shadow Vassal. So it's like a baby version of Caius. Fiend type. Level 1. You can banish 1 level 5 or higher monster from your graveyard, special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summons from your extra deck for the rest of this turn. If this card is tribute summon for a tribute summon, you can look at all set cards your opponent controls. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. You can only use each effect of Lucius the Shadow Vassal once per turn. That's pretty OP, being able to see your opponent's back row. And then this is another one, Neo the support. Mithra, the Thunder Vassal. If this card is in your hand, you can activate this effect. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. Also special summon this card, and if you do, special summon one Vassal token, Thunder type, light slash level 1, attack 800 with defense of 1000 to your opponent's side of the field in defense position. And this card is tributed for a tribute summon, you can activate this effect. You can tribute summon one monster during your main phase this turn in addition to your normal summon slash set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You can only use each effect of Mithra the Thunder Vessel once per turn. Alright. And then we have Landrobe, the Rock Vassal. If this card is in your hand, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. You cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of this turn. Also special summon this card, and if you do that, change that monster to face-down defense position. If this card is tribute for a tribute summon, you can target one monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense in your graveyard except for Landrobe, the Rock Vassal. Add it to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. ESCHER, the Frost Vassal. If your opponent controls 2 or more cards in their spell and trap card zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. Very straightforward, very simple. BERLINETH, the Firestorm Vassal. You can discard one card, special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck for the rest of this turn. If this card is tributed for a tribute summon, you can look at your opponent's hand and banish one card from their hand until the end phase. You can only use this effect once per turn as well. Right. And then GARUM, the Storm Vassal. You can return one tribute summon monster you control to the hand, special summon this card from your deck. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. If this card is tribute summon for a tribute summon, you can add one monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense from your deck to your hand, except for GARUM, the Storm Vassal. You can only use this effect once per turn. It's kind of funny as I'm looking at it, as the Vassals, they look like a skinny version of every Monarch, and then it's like, as they grew up, they ate more food, and they just got buffer and buffer and buffer. Alright, the Illusory Snatcher. When you tribute summon a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you do, the type, attribute, and level of this card becomes the same as the face-up tribute summon monster. Okay. TRAGOEDIA. Alright, always good to counterattack, to have it in your hand when your opponent attacks you. Summon it, and then you can just like tribute summon it to summon the Monarch during the next turn. Dandelion, as we saw from before, you know, you set it, and then have your opponent attack it, special summon 2 tokens, use those tokens to tribute summon for the next turn. That's really standard, really normal combo. Mathematician. Okay, so he can help you send the vassals to the graveyard, basically. And then Level Eater, of course you have to have him. With all the Monarchs you have on the field, you can just keep summoning him back again and again, and then tribute, reuse him to tribute summon Monarchs. Battle Fader, really good as well. Similar to TRAGOEDIA, and then you just stop the opponent's battle phase. Tribute it next turn, summon the Monarch. Rainbow Karibo. Can only use each effect of Rainbow Karibo once per turn. When an opponent monster declares an attack, you can target that attacking monster, equip this card from your hand to that monster, it cannot attack. When an opponent monster declares a direct attack, while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves its field. Right. Domain of the True Monarchs. So this is like the new field spell dedicated just for the Monarchs, and as you can see, all the other Monarchs are just bowing down to Erebus. Yeah, all 6 of them. While you have no cards in your extra deck, and you're the only player that controls a tribute summon monster, your opponent cannot special summons from the extra deck. Wow, that is really OP if you meet that conditions, because every deck in nowadays plays something in the extra deck. So this is the one of the only decks that don't need an extra deck. If a tribute summon monster you control attacks an opponent monster, it gains 800 attack during damage calculation only. Once per turn, you can reduce the level of one monster with 2800 attack and 1000 defense in your hand by 2 until the end of this turn. Even if there's summon slash set, and even if this card leaves the field. Wow. Domain of the True Monarchs, indeed. March of the Monarchs. Tribute summon monsters you control cannot be targeted by or destroyed by card effects. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. Again, you do not need an extra deck. Return of the Monarchs. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. When you tribute summon a monster, you can activate one of these effects. Add from your deck to your hand one monster with 2,400 attack and 1,000 defense with a different name from that tribute summoned monster. Or add from your deck to your hand one monster with 2,800 attack and 1,000 defense with a different name of the tribute summoned monster. The tribute summoned monster must be face up on the field to activate and to resolve this effect. You can only use this effect of the Return of Monarchs once per turn. Okay. The Monarch Stormforth, yes, this card is absolutely broken. It's like a even OP version of a Soul Exchange. So once during this turn, if you would tribute summon the monsters for a tribute summon, you can shoot one monster your opponent controls as if you controlled it. You can only activate the Monarch Stormforth per turn. During the turn you activate this card, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. Yeah, so definitely a really powerful card. Strike of the Monarchs. You contribute one face-up level 5 or higher normal monster slash set monster and target one face-up monster on the field, negates its effects, then draw one card. This effect remains negated until the end of this turn. During your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, then declare one attribute. All face-up monsters currently on the field become that attribute until the end of this turn. Right? Tenacity of the Monarchs. Reveal one monster of your hand with 2,400 attack and 1,000 defense, or 2,800 attack, and 1,000 defense. Add one Monarch spell slash trap card from your deck to your hand, except for Tenacity of Monarchs. You can only activate this card once per turn. Okay. And of course, Soul Exchange. Enemy control. Dicefoon. Roll a 6-sided die and apply the result. 2, 3, or 4. Destroy one spell trap card on the field. 5. Destroy 2 spell trap cards on the field. 1 or 6. You take 1,000 damage. Not too sure how is this actually relevant to the Monarch decks, but Soul Charge, definitely the OP card to have. The Prime Monarch. So this is where Ether comes down from behind the curtains. Once per turn, you can target 2 Monarch spell slash trap cards in your graveyard. Shuffle them into the deck, then draw one card. If this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one other Monarch spell slash trap card from your graveyard. Special summon this card in defense position as a normal monster, fairy type, light level 5 with attack of 1,000 and defense of 2,400. This card is not treated as a trap card. You can only use this effect of the Prime Monarch once per turn. Okay. The First Monarch. Special summon this card as an effect monster, fiend type, dark level 6, dark attribute level 6, attack 1,000 and defense 2,400. This card is also still a trap card. If summoned this way, you can discard one card, then declare one attribute. This card becomes that attribute and can be treated as two tributes for the tribute summon of a monster with the same attribute as this card. If this card was summoned this way, you cannot special summon monsters except monsters with this card's attribute. Alright, that's quite a lot to keep in mind when you're playing. Escalation of the Monarchs. Once per turn during your opponent's main phase or opponent's battle phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon one monster. Wow. The Monarchs Awaken. If you have no cards in your extra deck, target one face-up tribute summon monster you control. Its effects are negated. Also, it is unaffected by the effects of cards other than this card. Oh, okay. The Monarchs Erupt. Activate this card only if you have no cards in your extra deck, and if you control a tribute summon monster. Negate the effects of all face-up monsters on the field while those monsters are face-up on the field, except the tribute summon monsters. During your end phase, if you control no tribute summon monsters, send this card to the graveyard. Wow, so it's basically like a skill drain. By Order of the Emperor, that's an old card. When a monster effect is activated, that activates when a monster's normal summon, you can negate the activation, then the player's effect activation was negated, draws 1 card. Okay. Pinpoint guard. When the opponent declares an attack, target 1 level 4 lower monster in your graveyard special summon in defense position. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects this turn. Okay, really good for reusing the vassals then. And the last card we have is the token. Alright. So, just quickly, one last quick look of our new really cool Eidos and Erebus. And then one last quick look of Adia and Ether. Wow. Really cool. Really glad that Konami's coming up with these ideas of reloading structure decks. And yeah, comment in below what other new structure decks do you guys think that needs to be reloaded by Konami, and maybe they'll hear you and they'll do it. But as always guys, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it if you can like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more awesome opening Yu-Gi-Oh content, and as always, Vault signing out and see you soon.